Here we go. Episode 1, take 1. Wait, oh yeah, Season 2, Episode 1, take 1. What is good, everybody? My name is Jake, and welcome back to the One Take series where we get one chance to reflect on the day. No second chances, no third chances, one take, and one take only. And I gotta say, dude, today was an excellent day. Excellent day. Um, let's see. I'll say this. I'm trying to go for a more defined schedule in terms of where I like wake up and do certain things, go to certain classes, as well as fall asleep. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because I want to go to sleep ideally at 11:30 tonight, and it is currently 11:09. So I will try to time that properly, but if we end up going over, then we end up going over, and I will do what I need to do. So basically, the day started with me and some of my roommates. We were kind of wanting to just like do this devotional regarding like kind of like the upside down kingdom, basically. And for anybody who doesn't know what an upside down kingdom is in Christianity, it's basically this idea that the poorest of people, even though they're like poor, they don't really have money, they're not wealthy in any aspect, they have more potential to go to heaven, or at least just as much potential to go to heaven as the rich people, if not more, purely because they have more room for God to enter their life. That's basically what we were talking about today. And it's kind of like a series of things where we're going to be talking about that for like the next couple of weeks. We just read a certain passage of it. It was kind of interesting of like this, I think this one guy who basically was kind of like a druggie, and basically all of a sudden on television, it was kind of like, and sometimes in life it feels impossible. Basically, he was kind of like, the druggie resonated with it. He resonated with it because he wasn't necessarily from like a wealthy background or anything crazy like that. He was just a normal, average, everyday guy. And he needed God in his life, and he just so happened to come across at the right time. So that was kind of cool. Let's see, had breakfast, and then after that, went to my first class of the day. And so basically, first class was really cool. I kind of met up with this one girl that I knew from last semester, same type of class as well. Basically, it was kind of cool because like we kind of waved at each other, then she kind of walked over, and so basically she kind of said like, "You ready for an insert class here?" I'm not gonna say the schedule yet. I don't know if I really should say the schedule now or if I should say it later. But I don't know. I'll say the classes later on, like when I'm referring to certain work and certain classes, but I'm not going to say like the class names and which time of the day, just because safety reasons. So basically, she said, "Are you ready for this class?" And I said, "I think so," initially, and then I regenerated my answer to say, "I hope so." I hope so is a good answer, because that's like, okay, well, you got your hopes up. That's a good thing. And she was like, "That's a good answer. That's a really good answer." And I was like, "Yeah, you know what? I thought so too." So, kind of talked for a little bit. Then we kind of went on our phones until the doors were opened. And so I didn't really know if we were going to kind of sit together. But then she was like kind of like saying that she wanted to sit with me. So we basically went over to like this one kind of portion, um, to like kind of the lecture hall. It was kind of cool also because she said she knew one of the TAs who also just so happened to have the same basically major as me, and like apparently they get confused as twins. And that exact moment, the TA passed by the two of us, and I was like, yeah, you know what? I could see it. I could definitely see the resemblance. So that was kind of cool. But then basically after that, just a bunch of lecture stuff. We got to know kind of the people around us a little bit more, which was pretty sick. And then it was kind of weird because there's this one concept, I will say, that basically, should I mention? I feel like I can mention classes. I feel like I can mention classes as long as I don't mention the times. I just won't mention the times. Basically, this first class was vector calc, right? So this girl was basically asking, "Are you ready for vector calc?" And I was like, "I think so." And then I said, "I hope so," right? So we're talking about vector calc here. Basically, the thing about vector calc is that part of it makes sense. Part of it, like literally, I can comprehend just like that, as like, okay, this is like, I totally get this. I 100% get this. And then there's other sections of it where it's like, what the frick am I looking at? Okay, one of these things was basically, okay, there were two questions. Okay, it was talking about direction and magnitude. I feel like everybody watching this would most likely be old enough to know what Pythagorean theorem is. If you don't know what it is, it's basically you finding out what this diagonal side of a triangle is by using a formula using the length of this side and the length of this side. So pretty much we used that kind of general thing in class, but it was kind of asking like what is like the magnitude of a vector if you double it, right? And so if you double it, like if you double the magnitude of a vector and the magnitude of a vector is 2 comma 5, you double it and it becomes 4 comma 10. I think that makes perfect sense, right? Then it started getting weird because then it said, what if it has length 1? And I'm just like, what the fuck does has length 1 even mean? Like, what does that even begin to mean? Just literally say that it's the normal line, right? But then I figured out that it's not the same thing. And for some reason, it's just some weird extension. So basically what you have to do, this side, by the way, the side of the triangle called the hypotenuse, I feel like you guys are smart enough to know that as well. Basically, the side of the hypotenuse, you basically take that, well actually, you take the magnitude of the thing, apparently, and then you divide it by the hypotenuse. It's like, why is that length 1? Huh? Okay, but, and that, it just got kind of weirder because then it was like, if you multiply that by 217, then blah, 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 that's like what it is, length 217. It's so freaking weird. So, basically, I don't know, because part of that class, when I was doing the homework too, I ended up doing the homework later in the day. I'll just briefly say that really quick. I ended up doing some of the homework later, and so what ended up happening was that most of the answers went in, and I understood a lot of the answers and a lot of the content that was being talked about within the homework. So that's a really good place to start. What I was confused about though is that in vector calc, not XYZ, okay? You guys know XYZ, right? X is like the horizontal, Y is the vertical. They're basically axes, okay? X is in math, X is the vertical axis, Y is what the fuck? X is the horizontal axis, whatever. Y is the vertical axis, and then Z is basically kind of like sticking out at you. So, right, if I were to basically say that this is the X, this is the Y, then Z would basically be this finger out here, right? That's basically what the Z axis is. Okay, in vector calc, I don't know why it's noted as like I, J, and K, okay, for whatever reason. When I tried plugging those answers into the system, though, of like certain magnitudes where it'd be like 3I minus 4J plus 5K to describe the magnitude of a vector, for some reason it didn't end up working in the system. And I'm like, well, this is the answer. This is the answer. And it's one of the things where you only get a certain amount of attempts as well. So, like, I can't, like, I already used 4 out of 5 of my attempts for the ones that I needed to, and it's like, I'm so confused. So, I'm just going to basically get advice and ask questions, probably either after class tomorrow or basically in the tutoring session later on. So basically that sums up my first class, and then so after that, my next class, which is one of my gen eds, very, very simple. All we really have to do for this entire week, and I actually just got it submitted right now, was basically this survey. That was kind of just an introductory kind of thing. Not really too much to talk about there. After that, we basically, I don't know, pretty much, yeah. I had like one of those 2-hour gaps, so I decided to work on like the vector calc homework, right? And so then basically after that, at a certain time, basically, I went and kind of like, wait, okay, I gotta make sure, because I think I said 2 hours. I think I meant to say like, I think I meant to say like a different number. I'm not gonna say what number that is, but whatever. Basically, at a certain time I had my physics 2 class next. And I gotta say, bro, this freaking class is already throwing me for a loop, because here's the thing, okay? First day of classes, you're not really expecting anything. No, okay, first day of classes, okay, listen, elementary school through middle school through high school, everybody just knows that the first day of class is specifically reserved for the syllabus or for introducing yourself to other people, okay? That's specifically what the first day is for in those kinds of contexts, okay? In college, it is not like that, okay? It's either that, where it's like a syllabus day, or you dive right into the material. And let me tell you, when I talk about physics, this professor dived right into the material, okay? And listen, I'm not gonna say too much about him, okay? Because it has only been one day. I really haven't had enough interactions with this man to make a fair conclusion on him, okay? But what I will say is that on this website called Rate My Professor, where, as you could probably tell, students get to rate what their professor is on a scale of like 1 to 5, depending on like what their grade was in the class and blah, 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 blah. Basically, on Rate My Professor, on this website, this professor had, I won't say exactly, but a number within the numbers 1 and 2, okay? Out of 5 stars, this man was rated a number between 1 stars and 2 stars, okay? That is not a good thing, okay? Before, when I looked at that, I was like, I was getting nervous. It was a mix of me being nervous because I'm like, I don't really like that. I don't like looking at that because that means I'm going to have this man as a professor to teach one of the hardest subjects that you can learn as an engineer, right? And then the other half was me. It was like, maybe, I've had a professor in the previous in my first semester that had a really, really bad review, and I ended up liking him. So we'll just kind of see. I got to class. I gotta say, the Rate My Professor ratings make so much freaking sense. It makes so much freaking sense. And you know what? Again, maybe it'll change, but like for right now, I'm just like, what the frick? Because basically, this man, he went right into the material. Like, when I'm saying right into the material, there was no introduction of who he was, where he was from, what education he has, or anything like that. There wasn't even like talk to your like peers or something like that. It was literally just, okay, here's what we did in physics 1, here's what we're doing in physics 2. And okay, I just have to say really quick, okay? As somebody who's trying to make it as a music artist and specializes in hip hop and rap, I would highly suggest a rap career for this professor, because the way that he was talking and the speed that he was talking at was so freaking fast that I could barely comprehend what he was saying. He was basically saying, okay, so today what we're going to do is we're basically going to take this, we're going to take this metal rod, we're going to shave it up across this paper. I'm like, what the fuck? Slow the fuck down, please. Because slow the fuck down. Because, like, okay, it's just, like, one of those things. It's, like, because there's no need to be talking this fast. Like, I get that there's, like, a specific schedule of, like, what you have to talk about each day. But at the same time, it's, like, that doesn't matter if we're not understanding what you're saying, okay? So, I got part of it. I got enough to understand what I needed to understand. And I actually understood enough to just answer in my head some of the homework questions that aren't due for like I think another 2 weeks. So I'll probably answer those homework questions tomorrow just because it's getting kind of late tonight. But that was kind of crazy. Okay, there were a couple of other things. Okay, a couple of other things that I'm going to mention. Okay, to the person who is in this class. Okay, and later in the day asked. Okay, I'm talking to a specific person here, but this is really a thing because this is just like, the cost of putting things online. Basically, there was this one person who, in one of my later classes, he was basically asking, why didn't you sit with me, and why didn't you sit with a bunch of other people, mainly just because they were like my friends, right? Fair question, very fair question, okay? The reason why is because in that specific instance, I'm not going to say who, but I saw someone near this person who I was trying to burn bridges with, okay? I was trying to burn a bridge with someone that just so happened to be sitting near this man, okay? And so basically it was just kind of a thing where it's like, well, I didn't say it like to his face, obviously, but I was kind of like, man, like, I love you like a freaking brother, but I cannot put up with this other person, okay? And it's honestly just kind of like one of those things. So that's why I kind of like went to a different part of the class and sat down, and it was getting a little quiet. Everyone else was kind of talking, and I was just kind of like in the aisle seat, just like cooped up and whatever. So I decided to turn to the person next to me. I was like, hey, what's your name? And this girl introduced her name, ironically enough, has the exact same name as the girl I'm sitting with in Vector Calc. What are the freaking chances, dude? 2 in one day is like a crazy freaking deal. So basically, we kind of introduced ourselves, we're talking about our majors, we're talking about like, like dorm situations, like living situations. And then we're getting along. We're basically getting along. We're saying, okay, you know what, like, you're a pretty chill person, I'm a pretty chill person, let's get through this class, let's do what we got to do to get through this lecture. So pretty much she goes on about how she was looking at, what is it called, the not the problems, the equation sheet. She talks about how she was looking at the equation sheet and she was really panicking about it, like apparently like the previous night or something. And me, I'll be honest, I haven't seen it yet. Or not at the time, I hadn't seen it yet, right? And basically I was thinking, yeah, or not thinking, I just said aloud, yeah, I'm just hoping it makes more sense by the end of the semester. And this is, keep in mind, this is me not seeing it at all, okay? Later in the class, the professor shows the equation sheet. What the actual fuck? Okay, what? Okay, I might honestly pull it up really quick, because as long as it doesn't like show any like crazy information or anything like that, like, dude, like, this is just insane. It's absolutely insane. So I'm gonna make sure that I don't like dox myself or anything crazy like that, but. Dude, you gotta see this freaking equation sheet. It's absolutely insane. I'm not even joking. I'm not even joking. I'm telling you, I'm not even joking. Let's see. This doesn't have my college anywhere on it. All right, sweet. So, this is basically what it is. Okay, let's see. What's the best way to orient this? I guess. Oh yeah. Okay. So, I don't know how much we're able to see based on this. Okay, this is normal. Okay, what you're looking at right now is not the problem, because what you're looking at right now is just basic stuff. That's basic stuff that we learned from Physics 1. The real problem happens when you scroll down here. Let that just sink in for a second, okay? Keep in mind, I'm coming from a position where I just got done learning integrals, okay, singular integrals. And this class requires, I don't know if you can see my mouse, triple integrals, okay, use of series, what the fuck is that down there, the I and the J, okay, and then on top of that, what the fuck is this? What is that? What is that? What actually is this thing? I don't fucking know what it is, and it's terrifying me. I looked at that shit in class, and basically when it came to it, she basically gave me that look of like isn't it crazy? And I was like, what? Like, what? And she was like, I know, right? And I was like, apparently, yeah, now I know. Like, damn, this shit is tough. So basically there's that, okay? And that's gonna be a complicated part of the class, okay? There were other cool parts about the class that I really, really like. And so basically one of the okay, we basically covered charges today, and like attracting or repelling, basically opposites attract. It's kind of like magnets and stuff like that. So pretty much he was just moving fast, and it was kind of funny because in between moving fast, he would like want to move the projector like kind of up and down. And so basically the projector would take like freaking 5 years to go up and down though. So basically he'd be talking like blah, 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 and then he wants like the projector to go up and it goes slow. So it's like oh yeah, so after this, you basically take the derivation of this and you put it into this, you plug it into this, and you get this answer. And you're sitting there in the middle of the break and you're like, wait a minute, did this guy just kind of stop talking? Hang on. Like, it was kind of like starting to become white noise, and now all of a sudden somebody just pressed the pause button. I'm like, this is weird. This is weird. So you wait for it to go up, and then all of a sudden, okay, so if I take this rod and I put it in this paper, and then he goes right back into it. So this is going to be a wild freaking class, okay? It's already wild. Day one, just based off that, okay? What makes it even worse, okay? I don't know if this is going to be the genius thing that makes this class 10 times more fun, or the absolutely horrible idea that makes this class 10 times worse. I literally could not tell you. Based on this, I think it's going to get 10 times worse. So, pretty much, for people who don't know, at college in super, super big lectures, They basically do a thing where they give you a mic if you want to ask a question. So if you have a question, you raise your hand, professor or a TA runs over to you with a microphone. So that way you can speak into the microphone and everybody can hear you clearly through some sort of speakers, right? For some reason, for some unknown reason, this professor has his mic inside of a dodgeball. Inside of a dodgeball, there's this little black hole inside, like on the surface of the dodgeball, and you have to speak into this black hole in the dodgeball in order to ask your question, okay? Starting with that, the mic doesn't even work most of the time, okay? 50% of the time the mic actually works. 40% of the time it doesn't work. It just completely filters out the voice. And then 10% of the time it's just a compressed version. So if I was asking like, so how do you add 1 plus 2? I wouldn't ask that, but like hypothetically, if I was asking, so how do you add 1 plus 2? In the mic, sometimes 10% of the time it would come out, so how would you add 1 plus 2? Like, why? Like, now I can't hear the question, and now I can't focus on the question because the mic doesn't even work. It's like, man. So there's that kind of thing. And so it should be a really interesting class. It was kind of funny because after the whole thing ended, I was basically saying, I mean, it was like me and the girl I was sitting next to, we were just kind of we were just like, throughout the entire lecture, we were like, bro, this isn't it. Like, we were just feeling each other, like, this is not it, bro. And so at the very end, it was kind of funny because I was basically like, all right, first lecture, how we feeling? And then she was like, that's enough of that. And I was like, yeah, honestly. So, that was pretty chill. And so I got out of that class. Went to my final class of the day, and so basically in this class, reunited with a person, gave them an extremely freaking nice dab up. If you guys ever want to know how to dap up someone, all you gotta do, if you're going from high, okay, I can't speak on if you're going for low, okay, maybe it's a little bit different, maybe you look at the palm instead, but literally if you're going for a dab up high, look at their hand. Look at this part of their hand. I swear, so far, I have applied that method 2 times, and I have gotten a clean, awesome, low-key kind of perfect dap up 2 out of 2 times. Okay, that is a 100% success rate. Where else are you finding that kind of statistic? So, basically, yeah, reunited with that, met some new people, or met a new person, mainly. And then reunited with that friend that I sat away with, and that's when he was kind of asking me like, why did you kind of sit away? I didn't really say the reason why. And so basically it was kind of cool though, because then all of us collectively, we kind of sat like near the back of the class. We were just kind of like throwing like jokes at each other. It was so freaking funny. It was so freaking funny. I'm not gonna say exactly some of the things. I know there was like one of those dumb moments where like, when like somebody's hydro flask like falls over in class. Basically, I know that happened with somebody, and then like we were just kind of chuckling to ourselves because we were just like, yeah, like true though, like true, honestly, like I can relate. And so basically, other than that, basically there was one point. So for anybody who doesn't know what Supercell is, it's basically this gaming company, and they're famous for this ringtone that goes brung, brung. That's basically what the ringtone is, brung. And so I unironically said it as my text tone. Okay, in the middle of class, and this has happened before in like high school and stuff like that, but in the middle of class, my ringer goes off, right? Blum, and I'm just like, fuck me, bro. Like, fuck me. And the 2 guys that I'm friends with, they turn to me and they're just like laughing. They're like, who is that? And I'm like, bro, like, oh my gosh, it's literally my phone. Like, that's literally my text tone. And so that was hilarious. And so there were some other things. I know we were just kind of cracking a lot of jokes, and that was like one of the highlights of the day for sure. After that though, in terms of self-improvement, here we go. 24 minutes in. Here's the self-improvement for you. Excuse my roommates, they're dying in the other room. So basically what's going on over here is that my roommates plus one friend. Basically, there's this whiteboard that I have in my room, and initially my mom got it for me for my room, primarily because I was doing a lot of, I was basically I kind of made like a makeshift whiteboard kind of at home, and I started doing kind of like some calculus problems on it. And so basically then she got one for me at home, and then she got one for me at school. And so it's really really cool because now I have a whiteboard that I'm going to show you. I'm going to cover the camera because otherwise I would be revealing personal information on my way over here. However, let's see. Oh yeah, hang on. Um it's a good thing that I looked. It's a good thing that I looked. Otherwise, that would have been a very, very awkward thing to change. Um, so basically, hang on. I got it. Okay. So basically, over here, right? Wow, yeah, whiteboard. Am I right? So, let me see. Um, okay, I'm trying to think. So basically, everything, I will say this, okay? Every single thing over here is basically just code for a different class, okay? Like the ones you know, like I'm JK, okay? That's vector calc, okay? And for example, this one down here is physics, right? And so just kind of dumb stuff like that, but I'm actually starting to hold myself accountable because like I said before, I think I don't know if I mentioned it in episode 0. I know I mentioned it last season. Obviously, it's not up right now. You guys have heard this before. But I tend to function better on a checklist than I do on a plan. So making my own checklist and having a whiteboard to do said checklist is really amazing. It's really, really amazing. And so far, I'm making progress. I'm honestly making progress. It's kind of crazy. So basically, yeah, I got home, started writing on the whiteboard, just to kind of like map out my day and say what I really wanted to say. And so pretty much, they're not obviously like all classes of like kind of various kinds, but they're just like various things that I kind of like need to do, need to do before I necessarily go to bed. And so yeah, it feels nice. I think that method could definitely work. Obviously, I want to use the whiteboard for like calculus work because that is kind of what it is meant for. But using it as a planner as well is just has been a great resource. So right after that, I basically hit the gym. One of the first times I've hit the gym, in a few weeks slash a few months, purely basically just because, um long story short, a certain someone kind of wouldn't let me go to the gym. But anyways, basically that's a true story. That's a true story. It was kind of like a thing where they were basically saying I can like they're not going to the gym. I can go to the gym if I want. But it's a very specific scenario where I couldn't go to the gym because they couldn't go to the gym and because they had certain things set at certain times. So it was awesome. It was awesome to freaking hit the gym finally, like after so long. And honestly, like I don't care, like if I encounter this person again, like at like any time, like bro, I'm hitting the gym every single day except for Sunday because that is my rest day. So when I go, like I'm trying to think, like when I'm out of town, like I want to try and hit the gym. When I'm at home, I want to try and hit the gym. Like I literally just want to, like, because I freaking love the gym. And going back today just reminded me why I loved the gym. Today was pull day. Pull day is my favorite day. And it felt good. I honestly felt like I knew my way around. I had a lot of interactions too with other people, which I don't really tend to have in the gym. Usually it's just the occasional person asking, hey, how many sets you got left? Or me asking the occasional person, hey, how many sets you got left? And so it was really cool because today I honestly, like, I got more social interaction and it was really cool. And after that, for dinner, I met with this one person, and it was really nice because she ended up using like kind of a guest, she ended up paying for my meal basically, which was really nice of her. But yeah, we pretty much ended up just kind of like talking about our days, and it was really chill because after that, we pretty much kind of went our own separate ways, and then I know I've been here just kind of like looking over some stuff, just kind of before bed, and I know I took a nice shower as well, and so yeah, I'm trying to think because now pretty much we're basically just here. So I'm trying to think let's see, I need to prime for one of my classes, because tomorrow I only really have two things that I need to, like, two classes basically. And so pretty much one of them, I just need a prime for, and then the other one is, let's see, it's something that I kind of already actually did prime for, and so I just need to re-look it over in the morning, and then we're good there. In terms of what I want to do tomorrow, there are just various things like kind of on campus, and then along with that, just let's see, just different things I want to work on basically, different things I want to get taken care of, so that way they're done now and we're good on them for a while, right? That's kind of the hope that I have for tomorrow. Obviously, I don't want it to eat up the entire day. I kind of let productive stuff eat up the entire day, but I'd rather have that than unproductive stuff. I've done a nice thing over my phone. Sadly, I couldn't record it during the off season, but pretty much it was nice because I was able to delete like a lot of the problematic apps on my fuck, sorry. I was able to delete a lot of the problematic apps on my phone. Pretty much the only ones that are left there would have to be YouTube and Instagram, which I kind of need for content creation as well as like DMing and stuff like that. But the other only game I have on there is this one thing. I think it's called like Block Blast or whatever. And it's kind of cool because it's not that fun of a game. And so if I ever need like a fix, like a quick fix, I played like 2 levels of it and I'm like, all right, I'm good. Like, go on and do productive stuff. So far, I mean, right now, it's the closest that I'm telling you right now, it's the closest that I've ever gotten to fully 100%, 110% resolving my phone addiction. So that's really, really good. And so, or at least my reliability that I need on my phone. So there's basically that. And let's see. Yeah, so it's basically just pretty much, I'm trying to think, how did we even get on that topic? Oh yeah, probably just being productive. Yeah, just being productive. So yeah, pretty much all that there is to do tonight, is just check over. Maybe do I even need to do anything? Hey, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the whiteboard right now. So prime for that class. I already did that. We're good for a week on that class, and then after that, um, we already kind of did that. We checked how that works. And then let's see, for that, I already primed. For that class, let's see. We, oh yeah, that's right. There's like a homework 0 for one of my classes that I don't really need to do today. I'll probably start tomorrow. And it does sound like more of like an introduction kind of thing. Uh, oh, okay, my computer died. I thought my phone died. All right. Let's see. Yeah, okay, so then I need to take care of that. That's urgent. That'll probably get done first thing in the morning. If not, then like first thing in the afternoon, I guess. And then let's see. Yeah, look at that. Already checked that. I'm not gonna start module 1 there. And I did break code. I did not end the workday at 9 to 9:30, and I did not go to music until 11 p.m. And I'm not logging off, I should say, at around 11:30 because it is currently like 37. Wow, 41, pretty close. So basically, that's kind of where we're at right now. So basically, before I go to bed, here is the real part that matters, okay? The real part that matters for all of us. What did we learn from today, okay? First impressions matter. So make your first impression count. Because I'm telling you right now, if you are going to encounter someone and you're going to keep encountering them over and over and over again, you can definitely rebuild. Like, if you have a bad first interaction with someone, you can definitely rebuild your trust with them so that they can end up liking you later. But why do that when you can get on good terms with them right from the very start? Right? So make good first impressions. That's one of the main takeaways from today, okay? Another main takeaway that I'll say is that if you have an addiction of any kind, regardless of how severe it is, filter it out slowly, okay? What I see a lot of people try to do with their addictions is they basically just see the addiction and then they try to resolve it all at once. That works for like a good maybe 1 to 2 days, maybe 3 days if they're lucky, and then all of a sudden it just goes back to where it was because it was too much for them to handle. If you have an addiction, take it out little by little by little. Because there's this one thing, I will explain it. I will explain it. There's this thing called the boiling frog experiment. It's one of my favorites of all time. Basically, what the boiling frog experiment is that there were two different tests done on a frog, right? And the first test was that the frog was sitting in a room at room temperature and put into a pot of water that was boiling. And so the frog went into this boiling pot of water, and the frog immediately jumped out because he was like, what the fuck, right? We all of a sudden go from room temperature to boiling water temperature, right? That's too big of a jump. That's such a big jump that it's like impossible to not notice, right? However, on the same frog, they ran an experiment where instead of it being boiling right away, they put the frog in room temperature into a pot of water that was also at room temperature, okay? And slowly over time, the temperature on the water started to get turned up and turned up and turned up. And the thing about this, the really interesting thing about this is that the frog did not notice that the temperature was going up because it was such a subtle change. And so eventually the water did go up to boiling, and the frog had no freaking clue because it's been going slowly progressing this entire time to the point where change wasn't even noticeable. Frog ended up dying. My respects go out to the frog, but you guys get the point. The thing is that if you want to fix something, if you want, let's say your end goal, this is a very, very weird example, but basically, if you have things that you want to resolve them bit by bit if you can. Because if you try to resolve it all at once, I'm telling you, all that's going to happen is that your problems are going to come back, and you're just going to be reminded of why you have that addiction in the first place and how depressing it is. And so let's see, the third lesson that we'll have from the day. Let's see. Try to have a positive mindset on things, okay? Sounds really, really basic, but the reason why I say this is because the girl I was sitting next to in Vector Calc, she was kind of getting worried about kind of some of the stuff that was like appearing in class, right? And so it was mainly just kind of a thing where I was kind of like saying like, I was kind of giving this positive vibe of like we can do this, like we can do this. And so it was not only that, but obviously, like I said before, I said I hope so instead of I think so or I hope so. Like I hope so is a good answer because it inspires hope in other people, right? That's what you want to do because your positivity / your negativity in this world is contagious, okay? It is. Believe it or not, it can completely change or alter somebody's day. Right, and people pick up on it, and when people have positive or negative interactions with people, it causes other people to have those same reactions. For example, also at the gym today, when I was having a bunch of positive interactions with these people, because they were getting progressively more and more positive, my day felt freaking amazing at the gym, right? And hopefully, and most likely, I made someone else's day at the gym just a little bit better. Not by too much, not by like a crazy amount, but like just a little bit better, and that's what you want to do in this world, because if everybody in this world put out just a little bit of positivity in the world, could you imagine how much positivity we would have? Could you imagine? I think that's like the perfect place to end it off. So thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys so much. This was episode 1, and I will see you guys again tomorrow. Nah, not strong enough for episode 1. Cut!